rise, rise. Rise, rise.
So, Rocket League has found itself in the middle of a civil war it never asked for. On one side, you've got Epic Games, launching what they see as a totally necessary war on cheaters. And on the other, you have the community, terrified that the weapon they're about to use might destroy their most valuable tool, the incredible, game-changing BakkesMod.
And this quote from a player, man, it just hits the nail on the head, right? It perfectly captures what everyone's feeling. People are asking a pretty simple question. Is the cure here actually going to be worse than the disease? To really get why this is happening, we've got to look at what forced Epic's hand in the first place.
And let's be clear about something. This isn't some random decision Epic just cooked up. They're responding to a very real and, frankly, escalating crisis that has been chipping away at Rocket League's competitive soul for years now.
The game has been getting hammered from two main directions. First, you have these incredibly advanced AI bots that have somehow managed to climb into the highest ranks playing with near-perfect, inhuman precision. And second, DDoS attacks, where players literally just crash the server to guarantee a win for themselves. It got so bad that the hashtag #RocketLeagueIsDead started trending. That's when you know it's a real problem. Psyonix themselves called it a cat-and-mouse game with hackers, one they were clearly struggling with.
So the community is demanding action. They want something done. But how did they find out what Epic's big solution was going to be? Well, it wasn't through some flashy announcement or a blog post. Nope, it was through some good old-fashioned digital detective work.
People started digging around in Steam's database, and they found this, a new internal test version of the game. Now, the live version we all play is U57.1. But this new one, sugarstaging_U58, had files that straight up mentioned easy anti-cheat. This wasn't just some little patch. This was the blueprint for a complete security lockdown of the entire game.
And this is where our two main characters are set on a collision course. You've got the helpful mod on one side and the powerful anti-cheat on the other. And because of the way they are fundamentally built, they can't exist together. It's technically impossible.
Okay, so how does BakkesMod work as magic anyway? Well, it uses a process called DLL Injection. Think of it like this. As Rocket League is starting up on your computer, BakkesMod quickly slides in its own bit of code. It injects a file that adds all those awesome features we love. But, and this is super important, it's all client-side, which just means only you can see the changes on your screen. Now compare that to Easy Anti-Cheat. EAC is a totally different animal. It doesn't run like a normal program. It runs at the kernel level, which is the deepest, most powerful part of your entire operating system. It's not just a security guard at the front door. It's the head of security with keys to every single room, monitoring everything, making sure no one messes with the game's code. So you see the problem, right? BakkesMod's entire purpose is to inject code, and Easy Anti-Cheat's entire purpose is to block any and all injected code. It's this super paranoid security system that sees a friendly mechanic and a car thief as the exact same threat. It has no way of knowing the difference between a helpful training mod and a malicious aimbot.
This comment from the community just sums it up perfectly. To the anti-cheat software, code is code. If it's not the official stuff from the developers, it's a threat and it gets blocked. End of story. This isn't really a matter of opinion, it's just how the technology is designed to work.
So if BakkesMod gets blocked, what does the community actually lose? I mean, what's the big deal? Well, this isn't about losing a few fun little extras. We're talking about a massive ecosystem of tools that players, from absolute beginners to the top pros, consider completely essential to playing the game. The list of what would be lost is just staggering. Being able to see your exact MMR after a match? Gone. Access to all those legendary workshop maps that people use to train? Gone. The advanced free play controls the pros use to perfect their mechanics? Gone. Even the custom overlays that streamers and, get this, the official RLCS broadcast use would be gone.
And this right here, this is a huge one. For so many players, workshop maps aren't just for messing around. They are the single most important tool they have for getting better at the game. Losing them would be like a gym just deciding to get rid of all its weights one day.
And beyond just training, there's the personal side of it. The ability to use any cosmetic you want, like this super expensive Alpha Boost, just for yourself, that's a massive part of the PC experience. It lets you build your dream car without having to spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars.
And the potential damage doesn't even stop there.
Because EAC runs so deep in the system, it often clashes with compatibility software like Proton, that's the magic that lets Windows games run on Linux and the Steam Deck. If Epic doesn't specifically create a compatible version, that entire chunk of the player base could wake up one morning and find that Rocket League just won't launch for them anymore.
So, when you look at all this potential fallout, this massive disruption, it's no surprise that the community is starting to wonder about the real motivation here. Is this move purely about security, or is there maybe a financial reason behind it?
You know, when you zoom out and look at what Epic's been doing since they bought Psyonix, you start to see a pattern forming. First, they took the game off Steam for new players. Then, they got rid of player-to-player trading, which was a huge blow. And now, potentially, this EAC implementation. Every single step seems designed to build a higher wall around the game, locking it down into Epic's controlled ecosystem.
Which brings us to the billion-dollar question that the community is asking. Is this whole thing really about stopping cheaters? Or is it a convenient excuse to shut down BakkesMod's most popular feature, letting people use any cosmetic item they want for free?
And this comment just nails the community's suspicion. The theory goes like this. Sure, bots are a problem for the players. But for the investors, the real problem might be the lost sales from thousands of players using free cosmetics in BakkesMod. So if you get rid of the mod, maybe you can push more people toward the item shop.
So where does all of this leave Rocket League? Well, the path forward seems to be splitting in two. And depending on which path they take, the future of the game and its community could look very, very different. On the one hand, you have what we could call the Fortnite protocol, a complete lockdown. BakkesMod is gone, Linux and Steam Deck support is gone, and the community's favorite tools are gone. But then there's the other option, the Fall Guys approach. Fall Guys is another Epic game, and in that case, they did enable a version of EAC that works for Linux. The hope is that Epic might do the same here, maybe even work with the BakkesMod devs to create a safe, whitelisted version. Or in a perfect world, they would finally just add these essential features into the base game themselves.
Ultimately, that's the choice that's going to define the next chapter of Rocket League. In their war on cheaters, will Epic treat their most passionate, creative players as allies they should work with? Or will they treat them as acceptable collateral damage, all in the name of security and a more controlled marketplace? The entire community is holding its breath, waiting for an answer.
Think fast. Think fast, never break. I got that critical